They say love makes you vulnerable, exposes your deepest fears. For Billie Eilish, her world had finally found its anchor in Nat Wolff. After years of the music industry's relentless demands of constant scrutiny, he was her calm, her rock, her quiet place. Their engagement was still fresh, shimmering like a promise. Just last week, they'd been planning a surprise, intimate summer wedding, picking out details, laughing over absurd flower arrangements. Everything was perfect. Too perfect. Billie had just landed back in Los Angeles after a whirlwind European press tour. Exhausted, but exhilarated to be home. To be with Nat. She was looking forward to a quiet evening. A home-cooked meal. Just their usual, understated bliss. She called him from the airport. No answer. She tried again, a tiny knot of anxiety forming in her stomach. Still nothing. She pushed it away. He's probably just in a meeting, she told herself. He's probably just somewhere with bad reception. But the knot tightened. Billie drove straight home, her phone clutched in her hand. The silence was unnerving. She walked into their house, expecting to see his shoes by the door. Hear his guitar playing from the studio. Nothing. Her heart hammered against her ribs. This wasn't like him. Nat always let her know where he was. Always. She answered, her voice tight. It wasn't Nat. It was Alex, his best friend and longtime manager. Alex's voice was strained, distant, almost unrecognizable. Alex. Billie. Oh my God. Billie. Have you seen the news? Billie. News? What news, Alex?
What are you talking about?
Where's Nat? I can't get hold of him. Alex. Billie. It's Nat. There's been an accident. The words hit Billie like a physical blow. The phone almost slipped from her hand. Her legs gave out. She slumped against the nearest wall, the blood draining from her face. Billie. No, Alex. What? What kind of accident? Is he okay? Tell me he's okay. Alex. He was on his way to meet me. On Sunset Boulevard. There was a hit and run. A drunk driver. They're saying it's critical, Billie. They took him to Cedars-Sinai. The world dissolved. The vibrant colors of their home faded to a dull gray. Billie felt a guttural scream rising in her throat, but no sound came out.
Nat.
Her Nat. The man who made her laugh, who understood her silences, who was going to be her husband. She scrambled for her keys, her hands shaking so violently she could barely hold them. Every second felt like an eternity. The drive to the hospital was a blur of tears and desperate prayers. Cedars-Sinai. The name itself felt like a death knell. She burst through the doors, her heart already shattered into 1,000 pieces. Phineas was already there, his face ashen, holding his head in his hands. Billie. Phineas. Where is he? Where's Nat? Phineas. Billie. Oh God, Billie. He's in surgery.
It's
bad. Really bad. The next few hours were an agonizing blur of waiting. Doctors spoke in hushed tones, words like severe head trauma, internal bleeding, critical condition. Each word was a dagger twisting in Billie's gut. She sat in the sterile waiting room, clinging to Phineas, the weight of the world crushing her. Sound of gentle, somber strings playing underneath the narration. She pulled out her phone, scrolling through old pictures of them. Nat's infectious smile. His kind eyes. Their goofy selfies. The memory of their last conversation, her playfully teasing him about his work stuff, now felt like a cruel joke. He was always doing something for someone else. Always. When the surgeon finally emerged, his face grim, Billie felt her last shred of hope evaporate. Surgeon. Ms. Eilish. Mr. Wolff suffered extensive injuries. We did everything we could. But the trauma was too severe. I'm so very sorry. He didn't make it. The world went silent. A deafening, echoing silence. Billie felt a scream rip from her throat, a raw, primal sound of pure, unadulterated agony. Her legs buckled, and she fell to the floor, Phineas catching her just before she hit. Billie, N.O.
No.
It can't be. He can't be gone.
Nat. Knew.
She sobbed uncontrollably, her body racked with pain. The quiet strength she'd built, the fierce independence she wore like armor, it all shattered in that moment. Her fiancé, her future, her love.
Gone.
Just like that. In a moment. A meaningless, senseless moment. The echo of forever. Billie Eilish, the global superstar, lay broken on the hospital floor. The Grammys, the tours, the fame. None of it mattered. All that mattered was the empty space Nat Wolff had left behind. His laugh. His touch. The promise of a lifetime together. All reduced to a painful memory. In the days and weeks that followed, the world would grieve with her. But no one would truly understand the depth of her loss. The quiet man who had tamed the wild heart of Billie Eilish was gone. And she was left with nothing but the echo of a love that was meant to last forever. Tragically cut short, her breakdown was not just a moment of grief. It was the shattering of a soul, a reminder that even the strongest among us are just human, vulnerable to the cruelest turns of fate. They were the couple no one saw coming. And yet, once they were together, it felt like they had always existed in each other's orbit. Billie Eilish and Nat Wolff, two souls who found a rare, quiet sanctuary in the middle of the loudest industry on earth. Since their engagement during that magical Grammy night, Billie seemed different. Lighter. More grounded. She often told friends that Nat was the only person who understood the real her, the girl behind the neon hair and the world tours. He was her safe harbor. And for the first time, she was planning a future that didn't involve a stage narrator, but fate, as we know, can be cruel. And on a rainy Tuesday in February, the music for Billie Eilish didn't just stop. It shattered. It was supposed to be a low-key rehearsal night. Nat was at a small studio in North Hollywood, working on a project he'd been keeping a secret for Billie's birthday. She was at home, expecting him back by 10 p.m. 10:30 p.m. came. Then 11 o'clock. Billie texted him. No reply. She called. Straight to voicemail. At first, it was just annoyance, the typical artist lost in his work excuse. But by midnight, the silence felt heavy.
Cold.
Suddenly, her phone lit up. It wasn't a text from Nat. It was a news alert. Massive structure fire at North Hollywood recording complex. Billie didn't wait. She didn't call a driver. She didn't put on shoes. She ran to her car, her heart pounding against her ribs like a trapped bird. The drive was a nightmare of red lights and blurring rain. When she arrived, the scene was apocalyptic. Orange flames licking the sky. The smell of acrid smoke. The deafening roar of sirens. She pushed through the police tape, her voice a raw, desperate scream. Billie. Nat.
Nat.
Is he in there? Somebody tell me where he is. A firefighter held her back. She fought him. She clawed at the air. She was the biggest star in the world, but in that moment, she was just a terrified girl watching her future burn to the ground. The news finally came from a paramedic. Nat had been pulled out, but the smoke inhalation was severe. Very severe. She sat in the ICU waiting room for 5 hours. The sterile white lights felt like a physical weight on her shoulders. Phineas arrived, his face a mask of grief. Her mother, Maggie, held her, but Billie was unresponsive.